Kyle served 3 tours in the desert, 1 trip to Kirkuk Air Base in Iraq, a rotation to Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, and then got to chill by the pool in sunny Qatar at Al Udeid Air Base. For many of us, Kyle was not just a coworker or fellow service member, but a cherished friend, confidant, and mentor. Kyle touched our lives in ways that words cannot describe, and his legacy will continue to inspire and guide us. As we reflect on his life, we remember his courage, his dedication, and his unwavering commitment to serving our great nation. He was a true patriot, and his service will never be forgotten. Kyle was more than just a uniform, and his legacy extends far beyond military service. He was a valued member of our ammo community and a friend to all. So today, let us celebrate the life of Kyle as one of our own. Though he may be gone, his memory lives on. And we are grateful for the time we were able to share with him. As we remember Master Our Nation together, know as you bear this burden, you are not alone. Master Our Nation touched many lives, and it is because of this that the scars are so deep and far-reaching. Eventually, the sting of the loss will fade, and all you will be left with is the scar. When you're having a tough time dealing with Kyle's sudden passing, remember the good times you shared with him, the interactions and mentorship you provided, and the passion in which he worked. Kyle was one of the most dedicated and knowledgeable ammo troops I personally have ever worked around. Albeit stubborn, he wanted nothing but the best for everyone. In the words of John F. Kennedy, the cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender or submission. Never lose sight of what is important to you, find passion for everything you do, and continue to check in on each other. A simple greeting can change someone's life if they're going through tough times. Colonel Barclay, would you like to come by and say some words?
Let's see, we're caught up. The camera for family is right there. All right, so good afternoon. I just want to say thank you for taking out the time of your day for being here to celebrate Kyle. And it is a celebration. If anybody knew Kyle, he'd be sitting there with a big cheesy grin on his face with his obnoxiously looking mustache that he had at the end of his retirement, and then that full beard at the very end that he proudly showed off. Just realize that this hangar is full of support from across the wing and from the community, so thank you for everybody showing up and being part of this moment. To his friends and family watching, we are so grateful for you. Tony and Sue, Kyle was an incredible human being, and I just want to say thank you for him, and thank you for the light and energy and passion that he brought into this world. You are forever part of our family, and we're here to support you, his family, his friends, in whatever way that we can. And also I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to Bobby and Tina and their family. You guys have set the example of what it means to really, truly care about someone. And I want to say thank you for everything that you guys have done for us and for Kyle's family. For those that made today happen, there was a huge team that came together to create this day and this moment that embodies the spirit of Kyle. So Bobby, Tina, Eric, Sergeant Scott, Sergeant Anderson, Sergeant Siebert, Sergeant Alexander, Sergeant Smith, Senior Airman Castle, Senior Airman Fernandez, Sergeant Keith, both Sergeant Marshals, Sergeant Alt, Sergeant Mercado, and Airman Vines, and also special thanks to conventional maintenance, to PGM and line delivery for getting the static displays. Apparently, you randomly picked Bobby and Kyle's favorite bomb to build and least favorite bomb to build. So I don't know if that was purposeful or not, but you picked right. So thank you guys for making this a moment that is truly Kyle, and to celebrate his spirit today. Now, shortly following Kyle's passing, we were talking about the right way to celebrate him. And I mentioned holding something at the chapel. Well, Bobby rightfully laughed, chuckled, respectfully chuckled, I guess. And he said if we held something for him in the chapel, Kyle would haunt him for the rest of his days. So it really got us thinking, who is Kyle, right? What is the right way to celebrate his spirit? So we started out today with the softball game in true ammo fashion, right? It rained outside. Somebody got hurt, not permanently. Big Barter's fine. But it was full of laughter. It was full of just fun. And so we started out the day with Kyle's memorial softball game. We're here now in a hangar, right? That's cold, but surrounded by static displays that were part of his passion. And then we're going to end the day with a little bit of food and beverage for people to share stories about Kyle. Now, today is meant to honor his passion for life and to remind us all of those good memories. So we created this Facebook page, right, to share memories, stories, and pictures, and to be able to communicate with friends across the Air Force about what today was all going to be about. And looking at the pictures and reading the stories brought the biggest smile to my face. And that's exactly what Kyle would want us to be doing right now. Now, those were likely the pictures and stories that didn't make the retirement speech. You know, Mr. asked for stories, and those definitely would not have been a part of it. But it was Kyle. Like, it's pure Kyle. It's that passion. He lived life to his fullest, both on and off duty, and usually with that big grin on his face. He was loyal. He was dedicated, passionate about helping people, dependable. Some would say very sure of himself. Dare I say confident? That's one way to say it. That's right. But the theme from all of the stories, right, all of the pictures, and even my own interactions with Kyle, is that he was always there for you. You pick up a phone call and say, Kyle, need help. Or he shows up when you don't even realize you need help, and you have a 2-hour-long conversation about life, about the Air Force, and just being there with each other. And so that to me is what I remember most about Kyle, is that he was always there for somebody. He would always be there for you. Now, as we go through the rest of today's ceremony, in this moment, we're going to open it up to be able to have people share stories. Now, if you want to share but you're hesitant, I encourage you to take that leap of faith and just share that moment, share that story, share how you're feeling. Because I promise you, you're surrounded by people who are here to support you. You're here surrounded by people that loved Kyle, but we're also a source of support and comfort for each other. So thank you again for being here today to celebrate the goodness that Kyle brought into our lives and honor the commitment that he showed the Air Force, his family, his friends and family. He's impacted so many people in the short time that he had on this life, or had on this earth. And I know that goodness he shared is going to live on. So thank you very much, everybody.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read something that was presented to Kyle's family. So, we have the Ammo Veterans Association. So what they do is anytime an ammo member passes, they present a coin to the family. So they gave it to me to present to his family. They asked me to read it to him. I was not able to do that physically, so this will be the first time I've actually read it. In front of the coin, it says Ammo Angel on it. And on the back, with the ammo all built to meet the red ball, you make your way now to the last ammo call. Your families, all there, beers raised just for you. Their love, you will feel steadfast and true. A final grand cheer, you'll proudly lead it, so shout it out loud, and you'll all admit it. If you ain't ammo, you ain't shit. All right, so that's how it started. Being able to present that to his family, and that says everything you need to know about Kyle. So Kyle was the biggest ammo troop you'll ever meet. He lived it, breathed it. There was nothing more important than that family. He was the most energetic, crazy, psychotic at times, but nobody could doubt his passion and dedication to being an airman and being a leader to his airmen. That was one of his biggest things. Anybody that knew Kyle knew that he was single, wasn't married, didn't have kids. He would never share his life like that. That's just how he was. In the last 5 years, things have started to change with Kyle a little bit. He was getting to know people, getting to know us, getting to know our family. Just a little more than how he always was. I met Kyle in 2003. That's when he first got stationed here. He was brand new airman. So I knew him 20 years, and that's how he always was. But in the last several years, his life has also been including my kids. My kids were his family. That's how he looked at it. His parents would tell you the same thing. That's what he talked to them about. And it had changed him a little bit. He was starting to enjoy life. He bought a truck that he loved. He'd been trying to buy one for a long time, and finally decided to do it. He was enjoying life. So, yeah, that's all I can say.
All right, now we'll have a flag fold performed by Tech Sergeant Cody Smith and Senior Airman Darren Castle from Munns, followed by the playing of taps. Thank you, Tech Sergeant Smith and City Council. Bobby and Tina, from the Munns community, we wanted to have this flag and as a remembrance of today and everything that Kyle means to you all. So we wanted to share this with you. So, Mr. Westland, would you like to come up and say a few comments? After Mr. Westland, it'll be open to the floor. If anybody would like to go up and say some words, you are more than welcome.
Obviously, a tough day, but making the most of it and showing our appreciation for Kyle and our love for our friend and brother. First and foremost, I think I'm still sort of processing it. Once Kyle passed, it was Lakenheath, right? It's kind of right back into the groove, and let's get back to work and focus on that. I can't tell you how much it means to, I know Bobby and his family, and Tony and Sue, myself, the CVN team, the Munns community, everybody here on base, to be able to stop and pause and discuss or talk about our friend. First off, Kyle, wow, what a personality. He came barreling into my life in August of 2021, and seeing that pickup brings back the day very fresh. I was driving around that beautiful flight line, that enjoyable drive out to CVN that I know so many of you enjoy every day, and it was loud, and it was kind of burly and kind of cruising down the road. I'm like, who is this, and where did they get this truck, and why is it here? I just kind of lose sight of it. It parks, does whatever, and I just kind of wander my way into CVN and start my day doing whatever, and all of a sudden he kind of walks by. I go, dude, you know whose truck that is? That thing is obnoxious. It's crazy. It's loud. It's badass. Whatever. He goes, yeah, bro, that's mine. And I'm like, get out. He's like, no, dude, it's awesome. It's what is it, Bobby? It's 64? 60. Sorry, my bad. So he parks out, and he's like, let me show you what it is. And, pops the hood, shows me the engine. Snitch went through the same thing. Mr. probably did too, right? And so we go there, and he's just like, yeah, bubble lights pop in, lights it up on the flight line. I'm like, oh shit. So we get back, and thus starts my time with Kyle. And all of you who knew him knew that dude was smart. It could be a pain in the ass, but the dude was wicked smart on a lot of stuff. Knew the career field, knew the hardware really well. Coming from the acquisition world as I did, I picked up on things here and there. But Kyle laid it down. He told me how things were, how the ops community managed things, and it was great. So I'll always appreciate that. Yeah, great dude. And I will share a kind of a quick story about him. Those of you who knew Kyle, like Colonel Buffalo said, he'd sit down and, oh boy, you could be there for a while. And but it was great. I think at times I maybe took it for granted, and I miss it, and I will always miss it. But anytime you hung out with Kyle, whether it was work or for drinks or whatever, I felt like I always learned something. I don't know if it was really, some of it was interesting, some of it was, I don't know what it really pertained to anything, but it was good information at times. And so we would talk about things, and he seemed to know so much about so many different unique things. Whether it was brewing beer, the guy was ridiculously smart on brewing. He brewed a beer for our office in like a month, and it was legit, right, mister? It was insane. And so beer, he understood spirits, he understood the distillation process. I mean, the guy could have been a chemist. It was remarkable. And he was a foodie. It was weird. And so nothing against foodies, but so he would he and I were both single. We're in our 40s. We'll save that for the cocktail hour. But we, I don't know, maybe that was our bond. But we would, have drinks, a couple cocktails, and be like, hey, dude, I'm making some steaks coming over. And dude, the dude was meticulous. Like, he built the charcoal, and everything was just right. And he'd be like, oh, yes, I have some cheese on a charcuterie platter. I'm like, bro. And so we would eat, and it would be phenomenal. And of course, I'd learn all about this stuff. Oh, yeah, this beef is raised in a certain part of Nebraska, just right in the sunlight, and it hits the grain and everything. And you're like, dude. But I'll miss it. I'll miss it a lot. He was hilarious. Last story. So, he and I we'd go on little adventures, and we went to Dublin a couple of times. And again, the distillation process. The guy was a Jameson fan, as you all first probably knew. And we're in the Jameson factory, and he's like, dude, I got this black girl mixing class, blending class. I'm like, what the hell is that? And so I go in. It's a private room. It's black girl blending, and it's me and him and some other Americans from the States, and we're all just kind of cool, having a good time. And so if you know Kyle, he's a pretty big force in a room, and he's like, he lets the guy start, welcome, blah, 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 you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and we literally had a chemistry set in front of us. And beakers, all sorts of stuff, all these different glasses and different types of spirits. And we were going to essentially make our own alcohol, make our own blend. Well, look, I was a cop for 20 years in the Air Force. I don't know that shit. And so I'm there to drink and enjoy myself because I'm in Dublin and I have a stressful job like the rest of you, and I want to relax. And so we're sitting there, and of course Kyle is taking it like he's taking his exam to get into Harvard. And so he is literally taking notes. They gave us a beautiful black book. It was leather bound. He's writing all this other stuff, and of course I'm writing funny quotes in there and going, dude, like, really? And so, but I look over his book, and there's like chemistry formulas and shit. And so, anyway, so going through all of that, he ends up blending it, and he literally has like inspired the entire class, and he finally blends it. Of course, he's like, oh yeah, that's great. Takes a sip, and he's like, it's perfect. Gives it to the guy, a couple of the guys that work there, and they both sip it, and they're like, dude, it's phenomenal. It's really good. And, bravo. So we bottle it. And of course he looks over and he's like, what are you doing, dude? And I'm playing with things. I haven't blended anything. I haven't written anything. I'm just, I'm half in the bag, enjoying myself. And with the other Americans. And, anyway, it was a great memory. We have photos of it. It'll pop up there sometime. But I'll miss that a lot. Guy was a hell of a personality. Hell of a pain in the ass, at times. But you need that, right? You need that mix in the office, and I'll miss that a lot. So, to Kyle, I wish I had a cocktail, but we'll do that later. On the formal note, General Campos, sir, thank you for coming out. Seriously. Thanks a lot. Colonel Stengel, Chiefs, Colonel Barklow, you're awesome. Seriously, thank you so much for you and the Munns community. We have a CBN and the Munns community have a really tight bond. We're really tight, and this has even brought us even tighter, painfully. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking care of Bobby and his family, helping with everything that ensued with this. Emily, you're awesome. Thank you so much for taking care of all the affairs. You know what I'm talking about. And to for those of you who are the praying type, say a prayer for Tony and Sue. They need it. They lost their baby. Anyway, and hang in there, and we'll have cocktails and awesome good times. Bishop. Oh. I tried. Good. Anybody else? Leave me quiet.
All right, there are no further sentiments anybody would like to pass on. That's totally understandable. Just keep your feelings open. Let people know how you're feeling. Let them know how you're doing, because it truly matters. Nobody knows what you're going through. Everyone handles things differently. So, with that being said, the only way to end an ammo celebration in any sort is with an ammo call. So, Mr. Bobby Kaufman, would you like to come and lead us, as well as anybody else, any other ammo troop who would like to lead us in an ammo call? Please stand. We don't need to